Out here at the 4th Roadmap Conference, we're talking to all kinds of people about all kinds of things, but today we've got Zipcar, and the idea is that we are going to figure out, does it make sense? How does it make sense? And for those who somehow missed it, what on earth even is it? Well, let's get into that. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Ozap. All right, so we've got Will here from Zipcar, powered by Comed. Okay. So first of all, give us the high level. What even is Zipcar?
Yeah, so Zipcar, we've been around for 25 years. We predate the iPhone, believe it or not. And we are North America's premier car sharing service. So if you don't own a car, you live car light, you live in a transit dense area, or you don't want to have to deal with a car payment, we provide cars by the hour or by the day or for several days a week, where you can use your phone to reserve and unlock the car and go. And so if you need to go to the grocery store, go to a doctor's appointment, any type of trip that you can think of, escape the city for a little bit, we're there for you. We're usually like a 5 to 10 minute walk away in most dense urban environments.
So we're going to in a minute talk about what the future is, because they are going to new areas, new markets, new concepts. But first I'm going to propose problems I have with rental cars, and you tell me why it's different. I go to the rental counter, I reserved a compact, I get there and they got a truck. I don't want a truck. Does that happen with Zipcar?
Yeah, that's a challenge, right? Like, I don't want to drive a big pickup truck in an urban environment. With us, you reserve the exact car you want. So you're going to see precisely the make, model, and so you're reserving really almost on the VIN level the type of car you want. So
I reserve an EV6, I get an EV6.
You get an EV6, that's how it works. So if you want a Toyota, if you want a larger vehicle, if you want a minivan, you get that minivan. You're not going to end up stuck with that truck because that's the last thing on the lot.
Yes, or if you need the minivan, you're not going to get stuck with a compact. Yeah. So this goes back to the Seinfeld joke. I know you can take the reservation, but in your case, you can actually keep the reservation. It's not an idea of a reservation, you're actually reserving. Another thing I don't like about rental car companies is they're inconveniently located for my needs. I live in, I think a good example for these would be an urban environment, downtown, where parking alone is going to be hundreds of bucks a month. I'm not going to go all the way out to the suburbs to pick up a car. That's crazy.
Yeah, or pay the airport fees.
Or pay the airport fees.
So with us, we like to be within a 5 to 10 minute walk of our members. And so that means you just get to walk to the car. You don't have to deal with the rental car counter. You don't have to have someone that has to drop you off to the rental car agency. And you don't have to deal with their weird hours. Because sometimes those local shops, they're not open on Sundays, or they're open from 8 a.m. to noon on Sundays. So you can pick up and drop off whenever you want to with Zipcar.
Well, let's say I'm in a part of town where they've got new buildings have gone up. There's everything isn't quite there yet. We don't necessarily have the supermarket. We certainly don't have a rental place. And Zipcar doesn't have a parking spot in that neighborhood. How hard is it for you to get in there?
So the great thing is we can move incredibly fast. So we can place a vehicle within a couple weeks. So if a residential developer comes to us, if a neighborhood comes to us, or if just one of our members comes to us and says, we think we need a car here, we'll work with you all and work with the parking operators or the city to place a vehicle that's easy and convenient for them to get to.
So do you have customers in private communities that say, put a car here?
We do. So we work directly with multifamily housing to have a vehicle in their garage. So that way, all you have to do is step out of your apartment and get right there to the car. You don't even have to go outside. And that car, in some cases, can be dedicated to the residents. So if that...
Oh, so I can't rent it, but because you live there,
yes,
you're good to go.
Exactly. So it's like a private car that's shared between, the dozens or so housing units in that resident facility. And if those residents have a specific need, like if they say, hey, we want a minivan, we want an EV, we want a luxury EV, that's something that we can accommodate.
Okay. So in terms of cost, how many times a month could I use one before it costs as much as my parking spot alone would cost? Because a parking spot in the city is easily $300 in many places, and probably up to $500 to $800 in others. I don't know if I've seen anything below $300 in the last 10 years. You're going to get quite a few whole days of use.
Oh yes, so Like you said, parking is outrageously expensive, especially for a reserved space in a city like New York or LA or San Francisco. You're going to probably be able to reserve this every weekend you would need it for the price of a parking space.
And then, well, I don't have a car, so I don't have insurance. What do you?
So we include insurance as well as gas or EV charging with every reservation. So you're not going to have to worry about that. You could also purchase additional coverage as well if you want that, but your basic liability insurance is included with every reservation.
But you're not at the counter dealing with some jackass who's hell-bent on upselling you so they can get their commission or their bonus.
No, you get to choose what you want in the app as you're making your reservation.
Yeah.
So you're not getting upsold on a make or model, you're not getting upsold on insurance or coverages. You get to choose exactly what you want as you're going through the purchase process.
So just by not paying insurance, the lowest insurance I've seen on a newish car in any state is probably around $200. $200 is going to get you around town a bit. If you're already in a walkable space, this works. Let's talk about the future. You and I were chatting yesterday, and you were talking a little bit about mountain towns. What's that about?
Yeah, so today we already have vehicles deployed in Telluride, Colorado. And it's a fantastic partnership between us, the town, and the resorts in there to basically have vehicles available for the seasonal workers, for the residents, and for the visitors. There is no parking in these mountain towns, especially come ski season. And so we have four-wheel drives, we have vehicles that will be able to get through the snow that are out there, and we're about to expand into 2 other mountain towns coming soon, later this year. And it's a really great opportunity for someone who may be working there seasonally, doesn't want to have to deal with that car ownership, because those mountain towns are incredibly walkable. They're easy to get around, but sometimes you do need to go out for those groceries or that critical errand. So we're in Telluride today, and coming soon we'll be in 2 more by early next year.
So don't confuse the fact that a city is walkable with the fact that you might still need a car. Just because everything can be had within a block or 2 doesn't mean there's no reason to go to the other side of town or out of town. So that means in those places, and you're right, there is not enough parking during the peak season. Even off peak you can struggle. And especially for the people who work there, who will be captive for 3 months. They don't have cars there, that's crazy. This would provide them an opportunity to actually get around. Is that something you're still expanding?
Yes, so we're working every day on finding new opportunities like that in different types of communities that aren't just urban areas too. You know, like if you go to IKEA or Home Depot, you know, the bus isn't going to be great for that. Uber's not going to work well, but that might be where you need a car. But we're looking, for example, we're working right now with Mass CEC in Massachusetts in Volt Post to launch a program on the Cape Cod.
Sure.
On the Southern Cape, we're going to have an EV program out there that is under construction today. And so we'll be able to hear more about that here at the 4th conference. But we're really excited to deploy these in low-income communities. So again, the workers out in the Cape have easy access to an electric car to get around and do those critical things.
And for those who really do like electric, you've got your options. So the beauties to me is, you know, this wouldn't work for me. I don't need this service. But if I was downtown, which a lot of people are, this would be something that could save you a whole heap of money, a whole heap of hassle. I don't have to do any of the maintenance, whether it's, you know, electric cars are pretty good about that. But you wouldn't have the insurance, you don't have the gas, you don't have the charging, it's all included in it. And so how is expansion going? How many units you up to? What's the plan there? What's holding you back, Will?
So I'll say this, like we've got thousands of cars across North America. You know, we're also in London as well. We're in Toronto. You know, EVs, we've got hundreds of EVs out today. You know, electrification, the biggest challenge is infrastructure. And something that's a little bit different with a distributed network of vehicles is we don't have that giant airport hub that a car can come back and charge at. So we prefer to have our vehicles located at dedicated level 2 chargers, so that way our member can plug it in and unplug it at the start and end of every reservation. That ensures a really high charge level when they get back. So what's been really important for us is working with community partners, charging infrastructure operators, parking operators, to find those spaces with dedicated level 2 charging. and we've been working diligently on that. So that's the biggest challenge for us today, but it's something that's easily overcomeable over the next couple years as we roll out our EV network.
Because I know I've seen Zipcars parked and ready at plugged in and charged and ready to go, and you return it to that same spot. So that is, of course, the best place to do it. Is there anything I'm forgetting to ask?
No, I think you've covered it really well. You've done a really amazing job of understanding Zipcar and what we bring. Like I said, we've been around for 25 years, and we're really excited to help people live car free or car light, because it's expensive today. Cars are $1,500 a month when you bring in insurance, parking, the car note, and so give up a car and come join Zipcar.
And especially if you're a two-car family, I think it makes even more sense. I have known people who live downtown who rented a second parking spot. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get a cabin at that point.
Yeah.
So, guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? What should I reach out to Will and get him to answer for us? If you're in a city, consider trying it out. Why not? And if you're in Telluride, what's the excuse? What are you waiting for? Everybody else, like, subscribe, you know what you do. Stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you clever robots when you got your own little Zipcar to ride around in.